Obsidian test markdown. Switch to that session, test markdown. Blog post took an article. Here it is. .files, kiddie config. Then home containers. Okay, then blog post macOS Rising. Then home containers again. Then daily note. What are we going to be looking at today? We're going to talk about sessions in the terminal. I could sit here and explain what sessions are for like 10 minutes. Doesn't make any sense. So instead, we're gonna demo what sessions are in 4 different ways. Ultra boomer mode with no tabs, no tiles, no session, nothing. Modern boomer mode, people that use tabs in the terminal. Script kiddie mode, people that use tiles. And the macOS Gigachad mode, which is using sessions, so you can see and understand the difference between them. We're also going to start a timer on each one of the modes so we can see the actual results and we can see if it does benefit us or not. Here on my screen, you're going to see the 12 different steps that we're going to follow on each one of the modes, and we're going to see which one takes more time, which one is easier and more practical. Okay, so you'll decide that at the end of the video. For the Tmux fans out there, we're also going to talk about Tmux. We have it here at the bottom of the list, so don't worry about it. So I'm going to share my thoughts on that as well. Okay, so let's get started with the Ultra Boomer mode. Let's start the timer here at the top. And the first task, I'll go to Obsidian test markdown. Okay, Obsidian, let's open neovim, test markdown file. Okay, task number 1 done. Then go to the blog post, took an article. Gonna cheat a little bit, gonna help the boomer. So I'm just going to paste the directory here for my blog post. Going to open this. It's an NFS mounted share, so it's a little bit slow. Then we're going to open the Tukan article here. Tukan, first impressions article, right? So it would be this one. Okay, that's done. Then let's go to the .files and open the kiddie configuration file. Okay, .files latest kiddie configuration file. Okay, we open it there, the home session, and then check the containers. So let's quit out of this. Now we can run the containers here, docker ps. Okay, so checking the containers, good. Then let's go to the blog post and open the macOS Rising directory. There is the blog post here, there. Let's open neovim, macOS Rising. Okay, we did it. Then let's go back to containers. We're gonna quit out of here. Take a look at the containers. Okay, we did it again. Then let's go to the daily notes. Okay, so that's in the Obsidian. Open this. Date is 2026/02/19, Thursday. Okay, that is today's file. Glove 80 key map. Okay, so let's go to the Glove 80. We're cheating a little bit because this boomer is using sockside and most of them don't use sockside. They do CD and it takes them like a minute to switch to the directory, but we're being good with the boomer. It's fine. So let's open here, keymap configuration file. Okay, we did it. Let's go back to the .files, open the Canada MacBook file. Wait out of here and go back to the .files. And this is the one that we need to open. Okay, we opened it there. Let's go back to the Glove 80. We're gonna help him a little bit here. I have this command that switches back to the previous repo. And we open the Glove 80 keymap again. .files and Glove 80. Okay, let's quit out of here. .files again. Let's quit out of here. Let's go back to the Glove 80. And we are there. So we're gonna stop 3 minutes, 17 seconds. But we're not gonna be mean to the boomer. We're gonna say that all these steps took 3 minutes. Okay, let's round it up to 3 minutes. Or you know what? 250. The Ultra Boomer, 250. Okay, we have our results here. Okay, now it's time for the modern boomer, the one that uses tabs. So let's start the timer first. Started the timer. First, go to Obsidian test markdown. Okay, Obsidian test markdown. Okay, we did it. Next step, blog post took an article. Another tab. We're gonna help him a little bit here. Open the token article. There we go. Dot files, kiddie configuration file. Kiddie configuration file. Home containers. Okay, let's open a new tab and let's take a look at our containers. Okay, we have them there. 5 blog post macOS Rising. We have the blog post here. macOS Rising. Did it. Then home containers. They're there. Then daily note. Type A there. Okay, so the daily note is here. 1026-02-19. The daily note is there. Club 80 key map. We need to open a new tab for that. Club 80. The key map file is there. Dot files, Canada file. My dot files are here. Canada. Boom, we did it. Then club 80 dot files, club 80. Club 80 dot files, club 80. We're done. 1 minute, 29 seconds. Let's round it down to 1 minute, 25 seconds. Was way better. We're gonna write it down here. 1 minute, 25 seconds. Okay, the next one on the list is script kiddie. And we're gonna be using tiles for this, okay? So what do I mean by tiles? A new instance of the kiddie terminal. Let's give it a try. I'm against tiles. They don't make sense, but let's be fair with everyone, okay? So let's see what happens. We're gonna start the timer. And first one, go to Obsidian, okay? Obsidian, B, test markdown file. Next task is go to the token article. We're gonna open a new instance here. And we're gonna help him out a little bit as well. Where is it? Here. Token article. We did it there. Then the kiddie configuration file. Okay, so we need to open a new one. And this doesn't make sense anymore. We're done with this test. I cannot keep doing this. I'm sorry. But having these small tiles here makes no practical sense to me at all. And nope, let's just script kiddie lost. Okay, so how did the script kiddie do? Infinity. All right, so the final mode, the macOS Gigachad mode. I just closed kiddie, so we're fair. We opened it. We're gonna start from scratch, okay? So let's start the timer here. This is the final one. Obsidian test markdown. Switch to that session. Test markdown. Blog post took an article. Here it is. Dot files kiddie config. Then home containers. Okay, then blog post macOS Rising. Then home containers again. Then daily note. We're in the daily note here. Then club 80 key map. Okay, which one is the one for the club 80? This one, I think. Yep, this is the session. Then what do we have? Canada. Okay, dot files, Canada file. Then the club 80 again. And the dot files, the club 80 again. We're done. 51 seconds. So let's write it down here. That would be 0 and 51. Okay. It may seem not a huge difference between the modern boomer mode that uses tabs and the macOS Gigachad. Okay. It's just a few seconds. What's the difference there? 35 seconds? Okay. Now, I just did 12 little things that you usually do very fast, and you do a lot of times when you're using your computer. This is just a small amount of steps. But normally in a day, you switch between a lot of different projects. Like if you have a work directory where you have your work related stuff, for example, or if you have a private, repo that you switch to and other repos that you switch to, so you move back and forth between them. When you count the amount of hours that you work in a day, let's say 8 hours, 10 hours that you spend sitting next to a computer or in front of a computer, actually, this adds up and it gets tiring to be navigating between projects like a boomer or even like a modern boomer. Modern boomer is decent, but it adds up when you do it multiple times a day. Okay, so that's when sessions come in handy. How can I explain sessions then? It's a little bit complicated, but you can think of it as virtual workspaces, just to give you an idea, right? So my dot files, here are my dot files. There's just a key press away. If I want to go back to my notes, they're just a key press away, right? So it's the same terminal instance, but it has different workspaces running in the background. So I can switch to all of them. The first time that I open a session, it takes a little while, right? So if I close this session, right? Sorry, I quit kiddie actually. But if I jump to my dot files, the first time it has to open neovim, it takes a few seconds. Okay, so I can reopen this file in neovim. If I go to my notes, the first time it takes a little while. Okay, but if I switch back now to my dot files, notice that it's instant. Okay, because it doesn't have to open, just have to switch to that process that is already running, right? So it becomes really fast. Now, do all the terminals support sessions or are there just a few? Okay, kiddie support sessions. That is the terminal that I'm using right now. And this was not a thing a few months ago. Okay, I had an interview with COVID. Here I go again, I know. And I told them, that we need sessions in the terminal. And he actually implemented sessions. So that's the reason why I'm using kiddie right now as my main terminal. I wasn't using kiddie before. Before that, I was using ghostty. Okay. Ghostty, does it support sessions? It does not. It will, apparently, in the future. I'm not exactly sure. If there's any ghostty maintainers that watch my videos, or if you know any of the ghostty maintainers, ask them around. And we would like to have a comment. But according to the plan, there will be sessions in ghostty in the future. And that is going to make our lives way better. That's an essential feature on a terminal. The other one that supports sessions is Western. I'm not exactly sure if it works the way that kiddie works, if it works better or not. I don't know. There's people that use Western, that use sessions. So you let us know in the comments if they're good or not. Other terminals, I don't know. Rio does not support sessions. Alacrity does not support sessions that I know. Okay. Suckless terminal, I don't think that's a possibility, but who knows? If you know in the comments about any other terminals that support sessions, please let me know because I'm going to check it out. One other thing, it has to support images. It has to support the kiddie graphics protocol. Pixel, no, I'm not going to use that at all. But kiddie graphics protocol and sessions, man, those are awesome features in a terminal. Now, let me show you something. Take a look at this. How can I see which sessions I have open? I have this FCF menu that shows me which sessions. Let me open my blog post so you can see that in action. Okay, so here's my blog post. Here's my home session blog post. Let's open the Glove 81 as well. And what else? The daily notes. Here's the daily notes. Let's open that menu again. And you can see here the different sessions. The one that I'm on right now, the daily notes, Obsidian, Home, Glove 80. Let's say that I want to switch to my blog post. Just click on that option and I switch there and bring it up again. I can enter normal mode and I can search for a session. Okay, so there I'm in insert mode. I meant insert mode. Let's say that I want to search for Glove 80. I can go to that session as well. Okay, let's bring it up again. Say that I want to kill a few sessions. Okay, let's say that I want to kill the Obsidian. Just gonna type D to close that session. Just gonna type D to close my blog post as well in my home session. And let's jump to my dot files. Okay, so that is just using an FCF menu. That is something that I built yesterday. Well, the Clanker built for me yesterday, but it's useful. It's decent. Now, kiddie also has this option that shows you the list of sessions just in case you don't remember which session files you have created and you want to open one of them. Notice this key map here, Control B N. This is Tmux style key bindings. If you like that, I don't like the prefix. It's not useful at all. I hate the prefix that Tmux uses, but I get it. It's usable, it's decent. But here you can see the list of sessions that I have available. and I can open one of these, right? So if, for example, I type the number 4, it's gonna take me to that session, okay? So here in my kiddie directory, in my .files, you'll be able to see the different sessions that I have configured, okay? We're not gonna show how to configure sessions in this video because I have other videos in which I show that. So just go and search for kiddie sessions on YouTube and my videos will show up there somewhere. Now, there's something that I also want you to keep in mind, and that is what I have here on my notes, the power of the alternate session. Keep that in mind. Notice that I'm in my daily note here, okay? And I jump to my .files, okay? How do I jump between the last two sessions? Because usually you're not working between 4 or 5 different projects, right? You're usually working between 2 projects, right? So this is my .files, this is my daily note. So with a single key press on my keyboard, in my case, the letter B, I can switch between the last 2 sessions, which is something that I do a lot. Okay, so if I'm in my .files and I'm in my notes as well, and I need to switch back and forth between these, I do it with a single key press. And that is something that is extremely useful if you want to navigate fast. So that brings us to the final point, Tmux. Okay, so I have a lot of videos about Tmux. I had a pretty advanced Tmux setup in the past, and I love Tmux. I preached Tmux, and I used it for quite some time. But the only reason I used Tmux was because of sessions. Okay, that's it. There was no other reasons. I got to know Tmux because of the Primeagen. He showed sessions in one of his workflow videos, and I said, like, damn, that is pretty effective. Okay, so sessions was the only one. When COVID implemented sessions in Kiddie, I migrated away from Tmux, and I've been happy. Okay, I don't need Tmux anymore because I don't use it on servers. I do get it, if you use servers a lot and you need to keep a process running on your server, Tmux is an excellent option. I don't do that. I don't find that useful. I don't need to keep a process running on a server for a long time and make sure that it doesn't die if I kill my SSH session. No, I don't care. So if that's your case, yeah, Tmux is essential in that specific scenario. And the session support that Tmux has is wonderful. It is getting there. So far, I don't miss anything from Tmux. Been good. And the reason why I removed it is just one less tool between me and the terminal, right? Because Tmux is basically like another terminal running inside your terminal. There's a lot of translation going on between the terminal, Tmux, and the application that you're going to. I just wanted to get rid of that extra application, extra layer, and so far it's been great. Now, I've also been waiting for ghostty sessions, and hopefully that will come in the future. Because ghostty, man, ghostty is snappy. Kiddie is an awesome terminal. Don't get me wrong, it's extremely good terminal. But I would like to compare Kiddie and ghostty, both of them without Tmux, and see how they perform. See which one feels snappier. Okay, did I feel a difference when I left Tmux in Kiddie? I think it's a little bit snappier. You cannot tell, to be honest. Tmux has gotten good, but I just like to have one less tool. All right, so that's what I wanted to share, what sessions are. I hope that this video makes it clear and helps you understand the power of sessions in the terminal. I also want to thank the CEO, Web23, web23.com. I want to thank the other YouTube members. You will see their name somewhere here. And thanks to you for watching. If you liked the video, remember, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that crap. Hope you learned something. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.